So, John, you do a few different podcasts. You're everywhere. You're on WGN, but I recently heard you. I think you did a social share about it. You were on a podcast with Heidi Stevens, the On Purpose podcast, and the episode was the decline of male friendships. And I was like, "Oh, I want to listen to this." And 30 minutes later, I'm just shaking my head. I think I took out a pen and started taking notes because it was stuff that I think about all the time, with my friends and as we're getting older. So I'd love to hear you share some of that with the other dads out there listening.
Yeah, briefly, I think we somehow, maybe it's work, maybe it's just adulthood, but we guys tend to let our friendships wither and die on the vine. And we are the poorer for it. So, I don't think we curate and tend to our friendships the way women are brought up to do, I think, more than anything else. I think we guys are so stoic in so many ways that we hold back, I think, emotionally with each other. And I'm fortunate enough to have a couple of close friends where if I can tell that guy, hey, man, I love you, when I walk away from him, I know, like, okay, this is a friendship I can count on and rely on, and that will carry me and help keep me young as I get older. I think we miss that a lot as men. And the lesson we can take is usually from women, our wives, our sisters, our friends, because they're very good at curating and holding on to friendships and taking care of each other. And I don't know if we guys, we tend to isolate unnecessarily, I think.
Yeah, so I mean, I do keep up with my friends back home. We have a group chat. Shout out to the Lucky Bunch, which I love that we have. We can shoot the shit together and everything every day, but it's not always the same, right? Chatting over social media and group text like that. It's still good to have, but it's nice to schedule that guys trip. I think that's something that we're not doing as much as we used to. So, what kind of ideas do you have for guys to kind of re-spark that?
Yeah, I think the guys' trip is a big part of it. I speak on that podcast about friends of mine from college, and we just recently, there were six of us. We were really close back in the day, and recently got back together just via a group text, which was great, Rob. I mean, it was a really good start, but we realized kind of collectively, like, this isn't good enough. We need to do better. So let's plan that trip. Let's plan that weekend and get together. And that's something we're in the process of doing kind of as we speak. So plan that weekend, but also plan that breakfast, just get out with those guys, plan that breakfast. When you go out golfing, when you play basketball with your buddies, stop for a minute and talk about life, because sometimes we keep things so superficial and our relationships aren't as deep as they could be. And most of us are longing for that. So part of it is, I think, this kind of old school definition of what masculinity and manhood is supposed to be. And I think if we're a little more emotionally present and available to each other, I think we can carry each other through tough times. I think that can work really, really well.
Yeah, and it's a great example I really didn't think about any of this stuff until I had kids because, when you don't have kids, you have tons of free time. You can hang out with your buddies all the time. But once you have one, two, three, that time shrinks. So it's like the other thing is what kind of example do we want to set for, our sons, which I've got two and a little girl. I mean, I want to make sure that they're seeing me going out with my friends and things, and also probably healthier for your relationship with your wife, all these things. You were even saying what is it, the mortality rates of men, like you think it even contributes to that?
I do. I really do, because I think because we're a little less connected, we don't redefine ourselves as our lives go on. I think we tend to feel like, okay, at some point, and maybe it happens in our late 30s, 40s, 50s, I'm not sure exactly where, I think we can see the end of our story. And so we don't redefine ourselves and try new things. I think we tend to kind of get stuck in ruts. And yes, I do think that contributes to the earlier mortality of men, whereas women redefine themselves, find Pilates or yoga or something new for their bodies and their minds and their spirits, whereas we men get complacent, I think, and we can probably press each other to do better. This happened with my best friend this morning, Rob, where I am looking to get something done professionally, and he's pressing me like, come on, man, let's get it going. We're not getting any younger, get started. And that that kick, that helps me a lot.